First, we collected our species, and our hypotheses are with regards to beneficials and pests and their relative abundance. Our hypothesis was that in intercropping systems there would be a higher abundance of beneficials compared to pests, and there would be more species richness and a greater biodiversity in species overall in our intercropping systems. How we identified the pests was having an entomologist come and help show us how to identify pests using proper tools such as identification charts and books, and then we would count them off and record our observations.
So, right now we're collecting our sticky traps. They've been out for about a week, and we're going to take these back to the classroom and pick a random number of squares to identify all of these insects so that we can determine whether or not the intercropping plots have a higher amount of arthropod diversity. Oh yeah. Alright, so we just collected our pitfall traps here. Essentially these are cups filled with soapy water. They were just placed out 2 days ago. See, there's only one insect in that one, so not too promising, but this one right here, you can see, got some good stuff going on. Yeah, you want a sip of that, don't you? So these are going to give us data about the arthropod diversity of the intercrop plots versus the monoculture plots. So we're going to take these back to the classroom, dump them out, and try and key out these arthropods, figure out what they are, whether they're beneficial or whether they're pests, and that's going to give us some good data.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready whenever.
Okay. Hi,
We are the pest damage group.
and we looked at the leaves of squash, bean, and corn throughout monocropping and intercropping systems, and we hypothesized that the intercropping systems would have less plant pest damage than the monocropping systems because there would be more biodiversity and more natural predators throughout the systems.
And the app we use to measure the percentage damage is called Canopio, provided by the DICE-TA. And the Canopio basically measures the percentage rain, and we use 100% to minus the percentage rain to get our percentage damage. And one recommendation for you guys, if you got extra time, do not use Canopio because it got like really high systematic error because it measured the percentage rain instead of actual like percentage damage, like probably by weight or by area.
Perfect.
Right, we are part of the above ground arthropod group, and our specific group is, our hypothesis that we are testing is that there will be a higher percentage of fruit set in the intercropping system versus the monocropping system due to an increase in plant species present, which will provide a better pollen and nectar availability, which will attract more pollinators than the monocropping system.
At the end of our research, we discovered that the only data we really needed was the fruit set, so the count of fruit from each plot, as well as the mass of fruit from each plot. So upon harvest, we went ahead and counted and specified from how many fruit came from each plot, and then we went ahead and weighed each fruit set from each plot as well. And then from there we got different averages, and we were able to see which or how many pollinators visited each plot.
So what did you do today?
So today we did our first amount of observations where we went through and collected all of the flowers and counted how many male and female flowers were in the intercropping and monocropping system. Because of the number of cucumber beetles, we had to vacuum up all the cucumber beetles and then go through and cut all the flowers that had already bloomed and just count those down. And that is just to remove the habitat they looked like they were living in, because every single flower was full of cucumber beetles.
So of the 3 crops that were planted, the squash crop is the only crop that is that requires a pollinator. And upon some research, we discovered that it also depends on the number of pollinator visits. So the more pollinators that visit the flower while it's open, the better the fruit will be. And so we tested the size and the biomass of the fruit at the end of the experiment to see which plants had been pollinated the best.
Trend of our data showed that pollinators were more attracted to the intercropping system, and there were higher yields in the intercropping system compared to the monocrop system. So we can conclude from that that more pollinators were visiting the intercropping system.